Patriots are still in the same spot as to who's going to be the next quarterback there. And you just heard Brandon Marshall say on our program that he thinks that his podcast interviewee for the week and his I Am Athlete podcast, Cam Newton, that the Patriots should re-sign him, run it back, see if the continuity is worth it. That Cam said on his pod, even though we didn't discuss it, we didn't hear the soundbite, he's got a nickname for everybody. He has certainly made his inroads in that locker room. And he knows a lot of these guys. He knows what buttons to maybe push. He can be maybe the coach on the field that he couldn't have been because of how difficult the scenario joining in June of a pandemic to try and learn an offense that's so difficult on its face, even for somebody that's been there and done that. Maybe you run it back. I turn to you, New England Patriot fan. What about that as a 2021 response? How would you think? Uh-oh.
I don't think it's the best for the future of the franchise.
So what is it?
It's at least a 1-year Band-Aid. It's a bridge, so to speak, if you bring Cam Newton back. Also, I doubt you're going to be able to get him for that $1 million price tag that you got last year. So it's going to cost him a little bit more. What I would like to see this team do as a fan is use some of this capital that you have in the draft and move up and try to get one of these kids, whether it's Trey Lance, whether it's Mac Jones, or maybe you wait, get into the back end of the first round and take Kyle Trask. It's one of these kids.
You want one of these kids
with upside, and I think because you need to see what the next 4 years are going to be like. It's not going to be Cam Newton. He's not going to be the quarterback 4 years from now, but one of these kids might be. And what are you going to put around? Say you do bring Cam back, what are you going to put around him? Obviously, that was a huge issue last year, and it was the major reason Tom Brady wasn't the quarterback in 2020. So, is it Cam? I wouldn't bring Cam back if I was running the team. I would go in the youth direction. Look,
so meaning what? Hold on. Let me just interrupt you there. Youth direction means you draft the kid and start him week 1, or you try Stidham and kick the tires on him.
I think it's obvious Stidham's not the guy.
Cam is the first month of the season of Cam we were talking about giving him a long-term deal that the MVP Cam came back. And I understand it's a knee-jerk reaction league, but the MVP 2015 Cam showed up. Super Cam showed up in week 1. So you could see what this offense could be. And this is when Edelman was active and healthy. As you know, he got hurt, and he was their main offensive weapon.
Yeah. And he's going to be a year older.
So the answer, if it's not him, it's not going to be Hoyer. I know that he can't quit Hoyer, but
it's not Hoyer and it's not Stidham.
So then who's it going to be? Cam could at least get you in the mix of a wild card spot.
But then what happens if you say you bring back Cam and then halfway through the year he's struggling, you're 3-5, and then you're just going to bench Cam for one of the kids that you drafted? You're doing a disservice to Cam.
How about this one? How about Bill calls his old special teams player, who they have an immense amount of respect for each other. He calls up Mayock and says, "How much for Mariota?" What would you say to that?
I think
Mariota he's not even scratching 30.
No, but and you're kind of doing that move on that super small sample size of last year,
or a Tannehill. Like, look what happened to Tannehill. This guy can run and throw in the same way that Cam can, and you saw how a quarterback could succeed in the offense, running and throwing too. What about Mariota?
I think there's enough of a sample size of Mariota in the NFL to kind of know what he is. I would much rather draft a guy, get him under that 4-year, 5-year player team control, and go from there. Because you're not going to win the division next year. It's clearly Buffalo, and you're even behind Miami, and we don't know what the Jets are going to do. So I think you draft one of these kids and try to develop them. That would be my move.
This is just a fascinating conversation off the radar screen right now, because we're talking about so many other quarterbacks that could be on the move, bold-faced name quarterbacks who say they might not be happy where they are. We're not kind of paying attention to what the Patriots are going to do, which I'm sure is their desire anyway.
That's how they want it.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.